Hello, what is up, you guys? It is Dr. Kathleen Nash. Welcome to the video. In today's segment, we are actually going to do a client spotlight of one of my clients who had finished up a metabolic program. I want to highlight some of the really important things she said, the kind of weight she lost, what kind of issues she was facing going into her weight loss journey with me, how her body responded, and the takeaways that she got that I think will benefit you. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. So the picture of me is going to go really small and off to the side. Now, just know this is not actually the picture of Catherine. Catherine really didn't want her face to be shown. She didn't want to give out any personal information. I completely respect that. So we are going to get a chance to hear what she has to say, and I'm going to break down some common things that she discovered that happens during my metabolic programs and the kind of results other people can get when they take this information and apply it to their weight loss journey.
Surprised during the last month because I did the retrain phase, and I will admit I had trouble eating some of the calories because it's a lot for me. But anyway, at my age,
So let's talk about that for a second. So this is an exit interview that I was doing with my client. She went through a 2-month metabolic program. Really what we were doing is we were designing and customizing a program that combined traditional diet strategies with metabolic strategies for her specific situation. And we were tweaking and revising it as she went through the program so that at the end of that 8-week journey, she not only had a program that would cause potentially accelerated weight loss, but weight focusing on burning body fat, but also a program that was helping her to aggressively reduce or reverse her condition. So when she started with me, she was 5'6", she was 65 years old. She was in the obese category at about 220 pounds, and she had several metabolic conditions. So she had comorbidities. That means we have obesity. The obesity is centrally localized to the belly. And then she had one or more chronic conditions that were diagnosed for her. She had type 2 diabetes. Not only did she have that, she'd had it for years, and she was insulin dependent. That means she was in an advanced stage of type 2 diabetes. She had high blood pressure. She had high cholesterol. She has thyroid problem. So she had a body that was exhibiting several signs of being in an advanced state of metabolic syndrome. And what we've discovered working with clients for over 10 years is that if somebody has a stubborn weight problem and it's tied to a comorbidity like the ones that Catherine's listing here, they're going to see great difficulty when they apply traditional methods to their weight loss journey. Weight loss is slow or sluggish. They don't see a lot of weight in the belly where they want to see it. They have a lot of hunger and cravings. Exercise isn't giving them quite the response to their weight loss journey as they want, and they get frustrated and quit, and therefore they gain the weight back. We want to minimize that for people. We also want to show people how they can aggressively reduce or reverse a condition like type 2 diabetes, especially one that is insulin dependent.
but the whole month I stayed within my pound range, my high pound, my low pound. I did not go over or under.
Now, what she's talking about here is actually the second part of my program, because this was her exit interview. So she had been through the 8-week program. And in the first part of that program, we're aggressively going after the metabolic damage, in her case, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and thyroid, as well as the extra body fat. So we're targeting both of those at the same time. But then the second phase of her program, we wanted to show her that her body could absolutely hold that weight loss and hold the correction that she achieved, even if she went back to eating normal calorie levels. So again, Catherine is 65 years old, fairly sedentary, not a big mover. So we put her at a calorie goal of 2,100 a day. That is actually a big amount for someone of her age, her sex, and her movement, the amount of movement that she does every day. Definitely puts her in a calorie surplus. We wanted to see how the body handled that. That is what we're talking about here. So just know it's a little bit backwards. We're not talking about her weight loss first. We're talking about, did her body hold that weight loss first?
And how high did you get your calories?
I'm up to 2,100 now.
Okay.
So, but you know, I'm just surprised. I'm amazed how that worked. It worked really well.
So even though you're eating 2,100 calories a day, you stayed within like a 4-pound range that I put you.
Yes. And I didn't go over. I think I did hit the high number but I never went over the high number.
Right.
So what she's talking about here is we have a protocol where we are bringing somebody's calories back up to normal levels. And while we're doing that, we want to make sure that the weight stays in a certain range. So that's what she's talking about here. We want to see about a 4-pound range, 2 pounds on either side of the weight that she ended after the first 30 days. We want her body to hold that.
And the high number was only 2 pounds above like your final weight loss number.
Yes, yes.
Right. So that's the part I just explained.
Yeah, and I didn't go that high only once in the whole month. So
right. And
yeah.
real quick, the month that you did this in, what month was that?
This is December, so I made it through Christmas holiday. I made it through New Year's holiday.
So again, that's a really important point too, right? And the reason I wanted to talk about that is because we're heading into eating season. We're about a month away from Halloween, and then we're going to go from Halloween, at least in the United States, into Thanksgiving, into all of the holidays throughout December as far as celebrating Christmas, New Year's, right? So it's a nonstop eat fest between October 31st and about January 2nd or 3rd. This is the time when she went through her program. Oh, sorry. This is the time when she went through her program and not only showed the kind of weight loss that she achieved, but that her body could hold it even with all of those temptations around her.
So, and then how much weight did you lose in the reduce phase?
I can't remember, but I think it was, I want to say 17 pounds or something.
17 pounds.
It was high. I'm pretty sure it was up there. I know that I went to my doctor this month for the first time since September. And he said that since I was there last time, I had lost 20 pounds. So that right there tells me, wow, you know, and he was thrilled with my visit. So all my numbers were better.
When you say all of your numbers were better, what numbers do you remember?
All of them, everything, cholesterol, blood pressure's better. Insulin, I've talked to him. He's also, you know, I talked to you in the beginning and you told me how to do things, but then I went to him and he gave me more detail on how to adjust, you know, as I lose weight, how to adjust everything.
So again, this is somebody that wants to do more than just see simple weight loss, right? They have weight loss that they want to achieve, plus the reduction or reversal of a metabolic condition. In her case, the primary concern that she had was the type 2 diabetes. She wanted to reduce or reverse type 2 diabetes. So saw a 20-pound weight loss from the last time she talked to her doctor, saw a change in the type 2 diabetes, which we're going to get into, but then all of these other markers as well, blood pressure coming down, cholesterol coming down. She's getting ready to talk about the diabetes.
So real quick, Kathy, because when you started with me, you were already diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Is that right?
Yes, I had already had it. I've had it for years and I'm on 2 insulins. So
so your diabetes was bad enough that they had you on additional insulin.
yes.
Okay.
So I call that a diabetic spectrum, right? So if you go to the doctor and you get and they talk to you about anything about diabetes, usually what you're going to hear from a doctor is maybe that you're pre-diabetic, then you'll hear you're type 2 diabetic, and then they'll talk about medications they want to give you. I look at diabetes as more of a spectrum. It can go anywhere from something called metabolic inflexibility, which means your body is struggling to shift between the 2 types of fuel it burns, fat or sugar, all the way over to insulin-dependent type 2 diabetes, meaning your body needs additional units of insulin in order for it to try to keep its blood sugar normal. And please understand, when we are in those advanced stages, the ability to burn body fat is very low. The ability to get to a normal weight and hold it is very low. The likelihood that we're going to reverse that condition in a traditional sense from traditional therapy is very low.
When you started with me, do you remember how many units of insulin a day you were on?
I was doing on the mealtime, I was doing, I'll say 18 units. And since I've done all this now for this month, I'm down to 15. Because he told me I could adjust it depending on what it was before I eat and after I eat.
Right, but the units of insulin are going down?
Yes, and my nighttime insulin, I was taking 62 units every night. And now I'm down to 55.
So her units of insulin are coming down, still kind of high. And one of the things I want people to be aware of is insulin, out of the over 200 hormones that we have circulating through the body, there's only one dietary hormone that signals to the body to gain weight, to get fat, to collect and store body fat, and that is insulin. So please understand, if we're on medical treatment for type 2 diabetes, we are already going in an insulin resistant situation, meaning our body has to produce a lot of insulin to try to keep our blood sugar normal. And those high levels of insulin tell the body chemically and hormonally to store fat, to gain weight. And then on top of it, we have somebody like Catherine, where her diabetes is so advanced, the only option the doctors have is to give her additional units of the fat storing hormone insulin, mainly because her blood sugar needs to be under control or she's going to have a lot worse repercussions there. But they're having to do that if she's having to eat insulin or take insulin every time she eats, and she's eating 4 or 5 or 6 times a day, plus she has to take insulin for overnight. This body is never in a fat burning mode because the insulin hormone is always too high. If you want a bigger explanation on that, I'll leave a card right up here giving you another video where I do like a side-by-side comparison and I show you what fat burning looks like in a 24-hour period for someone who is not dealing with these insulin issues versus somebody that is. I think that'll give you a better picture.
Okay.
So,
So your nightly insulin units are down. Your overall like meal units of insulin are down.
yes.
You
Yes.
lost about 17 pounds in a
Yep.
month being a type 2 insulin dependent diabetic.
Yeah, and a thyroid problem. So
And
I'm amazed.
the thyroid problem. And
Yeah.
your blood pressure came down.
Yes.
And your cholesterol came down.
Yes. Everything.
And your body proved that it would hold it eating 2,100 calories a day.
Yeah, that amazed me. This whole month amazed me. So it taught me that no matter what, I can always keep doing this and I can do it and get off this 50 pounds I want off.
It's exactly.
And that's a big thing that I want all of my clients to get, is that sense of empowerment back. Instead of feeling that we're in a position of helplessness, that there's nothing we can do but rely on medications and management treatment. She now knows and understands that she has the power to change her body, not with injections, not with units of insulin, not with medical management treatment, but with traditional dieting and metabolic strategies. With food alone, she can take charge of her health again. That's phenomenal. That's what I want for all of my clients.
And believe me, I told my friend in Florida, and I'm in Nevada, that when I hit 199, she's going to hear me in Florida. It's been years.
Right. It's been years. How far away are we from the
5 pounds. 5 pounds.
5 pounds.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal. So one of the main things that I want to address, right? Because there's a lot of things that we're told about how much control we have about these problems and how much we can lose weight. We're told that we have to take medications or rely on medications to turn this damage around. Do you still believe that it's medications that are going to turn it around?
No. I mean, I believe I can do it. I believe my body can.
Your body can do it.
Again, what I want for all of you to see, your body has inherently within it everything that it needs to turn around not only stubborn weight problems, stubborn obesity, but metabolic damage as well.
Yes. And after doing this month of what I've been doing, because I'll tell you, at Christmas, yes, I had some candy. Yes, I had Christmas dinner. I haven't overdone it, but like I say, I stayed within the weight range, which was amazing. Right. And I did have one thing I had problem with when I was doing this, because I've been using my app that you told me to use.
Yep.
So she's talking about tracking her food on the MyFitnessPal app.
And is the carbs and the fat and the proteins.
Yeah, that just takes practice. But
right, so she's just an older lady that's never tracked her macros. She's never and that, again, it's very easy to get off track, especially in the United States, if you have no idea what you're bringing in. But that's what she's talking about there.
One of the main things I want you to see is that your body showed you, even though it was in a lot of metabolic damage, right? Because you were insulin dependent, type 2 diabetic, all these other issues for a long time.
Yeah.
That it was still able to turn around, lose weight at an accelerated pace. Did you have a lot of hunger and cravings while you were going through the weight loss?
For the first month, not really. No, I'm not a big eater. So there you see, this is my issue. I had more difficult in the second phase because I don't eat a lot. I'm not a big eater. And, but I'm trying to make sure I feed
But you
myself.
weren't dealing with a lot of hunger and a lot of craving
No,
in the program.
even the first week, no, not at all.
So the
No.
main thing that I want you to get from this, Catherine, now that we've gone through this and your own body has shown you what it's capable of,
Yeah.
do you still believe that it's calories that drives the weight problem?
I'm going to talk about that in a minute because I think that in a way that can be misleading. First thing I want to bring up is that in my experience with people that come to me looking for help correcting a weight problem, there's usually three big reasons why a majority of us will quit our weight loss journey. One, we're dealing with a lot of hunger that's just hard to control. We're having a hard time dealing with all the hunger. Two, we're having a lot of cravings, particularly for refined sugar, refined carbohydrate, junk food, ultra processed food, fast food, takeout food, things of that nature. So one is high hunger, the other is high cravings, and the third is we're putting in all this effort and we're seeing little, if any, response. So if I'm doing all of this work, I'm making all of these changes, and my body is giving me little, if any, response back, most of us are not going to continue to put in that level of effort for such a low reward. And I think for most people, that's the biggest hurdle to overcome. My job as somebody who helps people with metabolic strategies is to show you the hunger can be 100% controlled. The cravings for crap can be 100% controlled. These are usually because metabolic damage are driving those two things disproportionately. And three, the body can give you a result that motivates you and encourages you to keep going until you reach your goal.
Say no.
I don't think so because
Your
no.
body lost 17 pounds in 30 days despite being an advanced insulin-dependent type 2 diabetic.
So let me talk about the calorie statement there. Is it still calories, do you think, that's driving the weight problem? And she said no, and I told her to say no. Here's what I mean. Am I saying that you do not need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight? No, I'm absolutely not saying that. Absolutely, you need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. There is that energy balance going on. But most of us want to burn body fat during the calorie deficit. And for most of us, we believe that the behavior drives the outcome. The reason that we eat too much, or the reason we can't lose weight, is because we eat too much and we move too little. And what I'm trying to show people is that a lot of times things that we are believing are purely behavior based are actually metabolically based. If we can make sure that dietary hormones are positioned in a way where the person will burn body fat, if we can reduce the levels of inflammation, calm down toxicity, address underlying issues like type 2 diabetes or fatty liver disease or candida overgrowth, what happens is hormonally and chemically, the body changes so that you have little to no hunger and little, if any, cravings during your weight loss journey. This makes getting into the calorie deficit a lot easier, both to get into it and to stick with it. So that's what I mean by, is it only calories? Because somebody can be in a calorie deficit and they can struggle to burn body fat optimally, not because they don't have effort and not because they're not creating a deficit, but because metabolically their body is sabotaged. That's what I mean by the calorie thing.
Yeah.
It showed that it was able to reduce the amount of insulin it requires. It was able to reduce its blood pressure, reduce its cholesterol,
Yeah.
and then turn around and hold the weight loss while you were eating 2,100 calories a day and you didn't have a lot of hunger and cravings throughout the journey.
No.
See how it can't be calories then, because you were eating
No.
2,100 calories a day. You didn't gain.
No, and the macros now, I'm learning about that. So to me, that makes a big difference too. And
Yeah.
I know, but I noticed in the first month, because I did so well, I think it was because I got off sugar. And I
Yes.
think that to me, for my body, I think that's what I need.
And that's one of the biggest takeaways that I want any of my clients, especially those dealing with metabolic damage or type 2 diabetes, to understand. If her own body can show her that it was the excessive amounts of sugar, not the excessive amounts of food or eating or meals throughout the day, but the excessive amount of sugar that was driving the stubborn weight problem and diabetes that needed 2 types of insulin just to be controlled, then there's hope for anybody. So I hope you got a lot out of what Catherine was saying and you got some takeaways. Again, if you think you're struggling with metabolic damage and you want help getting a customized program built for you where you can accelerate your fat loss, target stubborn fat around the belly, reduce hunger, reduce cravings, get a better result for your effort, and get the body to prove that it'll hold it, eating between 2,000 and 3,000 calories a day. Make sure you check out my special offer at drnash.com/eval, where you can get a one-on-one online metabolic evaluation with me, and I will see you in the next video. Take care, you guys.